Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming for this webinar on the title is very specific, how to get a tech job in the UK. Now, we put as an international student, but it's not only limited to students. We just, what we mean is as uh, an international, right? As a foreigner, right? You're not necessarily a citizen or a permanent resident of the UK. So how do you break into the tech space there? So we are privileged to have uh, three professionals here, right? So if you're following us on LinkedIn, I'm sure you would have seen we posted their profile day after day for you to see those who we're bringing here. And I'm also going to do a simple introduction about them because these are humble people. So, um, we're gonna get started. The idea is to this webinar is going to be short. We're planning between 1 hour, max 1.5 hours. I don't think it should be up to 1.5. So, but maybe 1 hour to 1.5 hour. The goal, and we're gonna also have an a question and answering session, right? So, but it's going to be more of discussion. So we got a lot of questions or some questions from the form that we will release. So I just want to say the structure, the way this is going to go. Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to start by introducing a little bit of myself, a bit of the profile of the speakers here. Okay, and a little bit of the convener, who is Ilitech, and then I'm going to jump straight to the session. But if one of the speakers have something to share apart from the questions, we're going to welcome that in a few minutes, and then we'll jump into the questions. And if you are not opportune to fill the form to put questions there, put them in the chat. Don't worry, I'm going to read those questions out as we go on. Okay, but we have some questions that we also want to that we are going to throw to the panelists. So let me know if you have if there is anything. Just make sure you put it in the chat. If you want to unmute, maybe after, maybe let's exhaust some of the questions, and then we'll throw it open in case you have other questions and that are not covered. You'll be allowed to ask the question. But I want this to be done in an orderly manner. All right? Are we good? Are we good? Can I get in the chat if we are good? If we are good, can I get in the chat? All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Azan. Thank you, Lumide. All right. So my name is Kehinde Ajayi. All right. I usually go by Kenny, and I'm a co-founder. I'm a co-founder at Ilitech, and by profession, I'm a data scientist, a lead data scientist at Ilitech, and I reside in the US. I've worked with the US Department of Energy, Microsoft as a data scientist. Yeah, and I'm also a lecturer in the US in the computer science department. I've been a lecturer also in the statistics department, and rounding up also my PhD and also lecturing as well. Okay, so that's just a brief one from me. So I'm going to quickly introduce the speakers. The first person we have here is John Atugara. So just a brief one. John, in terms of educational background, John holds a bachelor's degree in biochemistry from the University of Benin, Nigeria. He holds an MSc in AI and data science at the University of Hull, UK. And in terms of work experience, John is currently working as a lead data analyst at British Aerospace Systems at the UK. Okay, so that's just a little bit about John. Obviously, there are a lot of things I did not say there, right? So, but that's just in brief, a little bit about him. So I'll move to the next speaker, who is Ahmed Lawa. So Ahmed actually came from the Kwara State, right? So he has a BSc degree in chemical engineering and also has an MBA at OAU, that's Obafemi Awolowo University. Hello, please, let's be muted. Let's be muted. If you let's be muted, please. Thank you. Okay, so he has an MBA at OAU and also has another master's in data science and AI. Mr. Dami, let me make you a co-host so that you are free to remove anyone who is not complying with the instruction. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so Ahmed has an MBA, also has an master's in data science and AI at the University of Hull. He has over 13 years of experience at GTB in Nigeria and up to managerial role. And he's currently working as a business analyst at one of the top firm in the UK. It has Excellence and Achievement Learning Awards company at the UK. So that's just a little bit I can give you about Ahmed. And then I'll move to the last, the third speaker. And the third speaker, that is Chichi. She's Chinyelu Ekom. Sorry if I did not pronounce that well, but we call Chichi. So Chichi, in terms of education, has a BSc in computer science. Okay, so she has a BSc in computer science. She also has a master's, right? She has 2 masters. So hello, please be muted. Thank you. All right. She has a master's in information technology and also has a master's in data science and AI. You'll be like, oh, why all of them masters in data science and AI, right? Those are the speakers we're bringing for this event. And in terms of work experience, so Chichi has worked in Central Bank of Nigeria, that's CBN, in the statistics department for over 7 years. We span from 2015 to 2022, and she worked up to rose up to a managerial role at the CBN. And then she also at the UK, she worked as a business intelligence developer, and currently she's working as a Power BI expert at Nestle. Is it Nespresso? Hope I pronounced that well. All right. So those are the speakers we have here for today. These are the great speakers we have here today. So if you can react, if you know how to react on your Zoom, let me give them a clapping ovation, right, from your Zoom. So there is a react button on clapping there. You can clap. Those are the panelists. All right. So these people have both the educational experience and also the profile in terms of also the industrial experience. So that's why we believe that whatever questions you have, these are the things they have also navigated. They've passed through the same thing. And they did not go to the UK as a citizen, right? So they also pass through whatever you might be passing through if you're looking to get a job at the UK. All right. So that is that about the speakers. I'll just, in 1 or 2 minutes, I'm just going to quickly introduce the convener, which is ILITEC, and then we'll move straight to the point. Okay. All right, so about ILITEC, if you don't know ILITEC, I know I've seen quite a lot of faces, a lot of names here which I'm familiar with, but in case you're not familiar about ILITEC, ILITEC is a training and consulting firm based in Nigeria and in the right? So, and then we have several students from several countries, right? From Nigeria and other African countries, Ghana, South Africa, Canada, US, UK, Germany, Turkey, and there are many others. So ILITEC is based on one vision, and this is also one of the reasons why we are doing what we are doing today, is to get as many Blacks and Africans into the tech industry. So we reflect this in both our trainings and also opportunity to get to put people, to get people to fulfill this vision. So we reflect this also in that process. So that's why one of the reasons why we're even doing what we're doing. We don't just want to train people, we also want people to get job in the field. Okay, so that's that about ILITEC Vision. If you want to check, you can check the site for all of the courses we do, but the top courses we do are in data science, which spans through all of these different ones, right? Machine learning, fundamentals of data science, deep learning, machine learning operations, generative AI, which is the one currently rolling, and then big data. We also do business and data analytics, right? And business analytics for business managers, Power BI developer course, software engineering, DevOps, data engineering, and breaking into cybersecurity. Okay, so I will come back to this particular slide later. Okay, so during the course, based on the questions I saw some people, I'm going to share resources later on about different sites that you can get remote jobs. Okay, but let's pen that for now and quickly jump into questions and answer. If you're just joining, I said that feel free to put questions in the chat as we go on, but we're going to start with questions that people have put in the form they filled. But if you were not opportune to put the questions there, don't worry. Put your questions in the chat. After that, after some time, we're going to also allow people, in case you want to ask questions or you want to direct a question, you can you feel free to unmute, but not now. You'll be given the session to do that. And I want to say this to our panelists: feel free. Any of the panelists is free to answer the question. All right. Hello, I want everybody to be muted, please. If you want to remain in the session, please be muted unless we give opportunity for you to ask questions. So to our panelists, feel free, any one of you is free to answer the question. But if there are any questions, some question may be directed to you, I will let you know. If there's no one's directed to any of you, feel free. And even if one speaker has answered and you want to lay emphasis on that or share that stuff, please feel free to do that. All right, are we good to go? Are we good? So the questions, so we segmented into different sections. So there were some questions over sponsorship in the UK. There are some questions over CV interviews and all of that. So we kind of segmented. So I'm going to start with one session there that talks about sponsorship and CV. So this person says, let me start with this. It says, what CV format would you require? What interview preparation? Or how do I sell my skills to land the right job? And what kind of, so there are quite numbers I'm putting together, just the way the question was being asked. The CV format, interview preparation that I can do. How do I sell my skills to land a right job? And what jobs to apply for and companies to even look out for. So about 4 questions together. So I don't know who wants to go first. So if whichever one you can pick up from there, just pick and then I'll go. I see Chichi unmuted. Chichi, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there are 4 questions. I'll start with interview preparation.
Okay.
Usually, when you're going to have your interview, first of all, what I usually do is I use YouTube quite a lot, to see what questions there are concerning the role, and what could be like the possible responses that are accurate, and see how I can use that responses and um, manipulate it to suit my own experiences. So I usually just check what are the best possible questions that you're going to be asked, first of all. Then I kind of practice and do possible scenarios on how I'm going to like draw up from my experience, the experience that I've had in the past, and see how I can connect it to. For CV format, what I did when I was in school, I don't know, for those of us that are still in school, I submitted my CV to, there's this employment, I don't know what they call it in some schools, but there are student helps that help to look at your CV. Um, so she looked at it. There were some words, for instance, there are places where, like for the word analyze, for instance, some of us will spell it with an SE. For the British people, I think it's with a ZE. I can't remember. I have to check my CV to know which one it was. So if you're spelling the word analyze, even though it's an American thing, you have to be careful about the spelling to make it the British way, because this the British people are British. They don't know anything about the Americans and how other people spell. So the lady who looked at my CV was kind of very particular about it. Then the CV also, your CV would also be, even till now, I'm still continuously updating, creating my CV, adjusting my CV, making it look more presentable. I had a few friends that I gave my CV and said, critique this thing for me and see if, it suits you. Then you can't use one CV for multiple jobs. Your CV has to capture, mostly I would say 70% of what the job requirement is for the role. So you have to be able to demonstrate in your CV how you have that necessary maybe experience or skill required for that particular role. And you also have to demonstrate actionable insights there. So sorry, the other remaining two, I didn't take the other remaining two down.
So others can come in. So maybe
Oh,
John,
sorry, okay.
thank you, Chichi. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that insight. So maybe John or Ahmed can take any of, so I think Chichi already covered what she does for interview preparation. Suppose you are called for an interview or how to go about the CV, we can still elaborate on that as we go on. So the other part of that question is, how do I sell my skills right to land a job? And what are the company, how do I go about looking for companies that are recruiting? Like, how do I even search for the job, right? And how do I sell my skills right to land this job? So maybe John or Ahmed, you can go on with that.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kende. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope we're doing all right. First, I'd like to um, say congratulations to you. If you're in this space, that's the tech space, and you're looking to, navigate and land a job in the tech market in the UK. Well, I'll approach the questions as a whole, from the beginning. And the first thing I would say is know your skills and your interests. There might be two people, two people in this room who did the same course, but you don't have the same skills and interests. So first thing, know your skills, know your interests. And then that's before diving into a job search. Um, Now, whatever you may have learned while looking at a job vacancy that was posted, try and look, okay, these are the ones I have interest in. Now, something that discourages some people is, oh, they're asking for someone who knows Tableau. I don't know Tableau. Don't worry. That doesn't stop you from applying. I mean, there are some tools or some some analysis tools or programming tools that some organizations will ask for. So for instance, if you are skilled in Power BI and they're asking for Tableau, you go ahead. But you always show, in case it's being asked in an interview, you always say, "Oh, I'm always open to learn. I've started studying, something like that." So, you might also go ahead and apply, and where you see that you have a deficiency, uh, you go ahead and start learning. You have an idea before your interview. Another thing is to ensure that you build a strong online presence. Your LinkedIn profile is very, very key. Um, on your you make sure you continue to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Um, interact, network with people. Sometimes you don't even apply for jobs. It's a recruiter that calls you based on your LinkedIn profile. You see recruiters, I mean, while I was still in university, you see recruiters sending, I can see your success in this area, blah, 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 But of course, you know how it is in the UK. If you don't have that visa, if you're still on a student visa, they'll say, unfortunately, So make sure your LinkedIn profile sells you properly. There are free courses on LinkedIn that you can take. You can enjoy the premium, the free premium. That's the free trial. And I mean, if you enjoy the free trial, you might end up actually subscribing to the premium. There are advantages there. Okay. Um, you should also try and gain practical experience, even if you've not worked anywhere in the UK and you've done a master's or, I mean, you're here. Um, Practical experience could range from you going to Kaggle or GitHub, pick up a project or machine learning repository. There are a lot of resources. You could pick up a project, or I mean, you could join a boot camp, like we did. That's the affiliation we have. I mean, someone like myself and John and Tichi with iLead Tech. The projects you do are the things you put on your CV. They are your experience. They are the things when you're asked a question, even if you know it theoretically, you go. For example, when I was working on XYZ projects with a company, I did this. I was able to generate this result. And I presented. My report with dashboards with what you've done. Those are the projects that you can showcase during interviews. Well, for interviews itself, when you prepare for interviews, um, well, it's important your CV, your professional summary. Ensure that you use the code EES. Your experience, your education, your skills should all be embedded in your personal statement. Nowadays they use what they call the ATS. It's when you see job vacancies and you see over 100 applicants, no one is going to sit down and look at this manually. They use AI. There's an ATS system that generates. They're looking for those keywords. Those keywords. Machine learning. If I mean, for instance, you're applying for a data science role. You know those keywords. You need to know what keywords, the skills that you put in your personal statement. Um, and there's no, like Chiche said, you can't use a CV for all roles. You need to tailor your CV to a particular role using the job description. And thank God, I mean, you're in the tech field, which by now you know that ChatGPT, there are prompts you put into ChatGPT, to prepare a cover letter, to revamp your CV for you based on the job description and your current resume. Um, I hope I've touched a bit of the question.
All right, thank you so much, Ahmed. John, do you have anything to add to that Ahmed didn't cover? John, do you have anything to? All right, I'm not sure your mic is working. Very low.
Can you hear me, Mr. Kennedy?
It's better, but it can be louder.
My apologies. I had to take out my headset.
Okay.
Right. So my friends and colleagues here and schoolmates they've said a lot. I would have loved to share my screen with Kehinde. I'll make it very brief. Because I know it's more or less like a, if that's all right. I know it's more.
All right, but make it very, very brief. So I'm giving you just 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I can do. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
Okay, so I prepared this slide, hoping I'll be able to present it, but then it's more or less like a discussion section, but I'll still try and rush it through. So basically, there's something I noticed that a lot of people do when applying for jobs, especially those in data analysis, data science. They focus their job search on just data analyst, data science. But then we fail to understand that there are so many other job titles, job names. So it's important that when searching for a job, I would recommend to always use LinkedIn a lot. Be specific in searching. For instance, just type analyst, right? Or type data and then see the list of jobs that comes out. So this slide basically, not to talk so much about it, you can see some job names which are listed there. You can have a snapshot and search depending on your skill if it aligns to any of them. Of course, the various industries where tech jobs are actually required in every industry. I created like a 6-step plan, which I'd like to go through, right? The first is, it's important that we enhance our training through certifications on Udemy, continue getting our skills uptight, carry out projects, marketing, and the case may be. Then build your profile, your professional profile on LinkedIn, GitHub, and Gitbook. For Gitbook, for instance, you can put in your CV, your project about you. When you can put it on your LinkedIn, and someone can easily click on it and see everything about you. Attend networking events, tech meetups, join associations like BCS, IIBA, and Engineering Council. Recently, I joined the BCS, and I was, I was just recently awarded CITP by the British Council, Computer Society rather. So it's important we join such associations. Get your CV ready, which is your material for a job, and of course apply to jobs when your CV or your cover letter is ready. There's a list of job websites here, which I have here: Bright Network, Total Jobs, Reed, Job Teaser, Indeed, CW Jobs, JobServe, and Civil Library. There are a lot, but I always say LinkedIn should be your first choice. For people that may be interested in going into entrepreneurship, understand that it's not only getting a job, in UK that you can explore. You can actually explore being when a startup company and even get a visa as a startup person. For persons that finish from University of Hull, I know Hull has the opportunity of supporting you if you want to start up your own business. So it's something you can explore. You can sign up with accelerator programs like Tech Nation, Satanda, NatWest, as the case may be. And again, understand UK job market. When I apply for jobs, ensure it's a job that aligns with your skill. And I'll give you reasons. Ms. Kehinde, please permit me. I know you said 2 minutes. Right.
Yeah,
yes. Now, talking about your CV. Your CV is your tool, your weapon to get out there in the battlefield. That's the way I like to describe it. Now, 2 questions to ask. Does my CV make it to the recruiter? Does my CV represent me well? I once read one somewhere where it says a recruiter once said she reviews 200 CVs a day. So you can imagine how much CVs that is just to check for a day. That means the recruiter obviously doesn't spend much time on one CV. What do they do? Most companies, especially the Fortune 500 companies, that's the top US companies, they make use of ATS platform. Basically, that means applicant tracking system to basically filter these CVs, right, and applications from applicants. It comes as kind of a ranking pattern whereby when they search for a keyword or search with keywords, it picks the best CV that meets up with those requirements. So those are the persons obviously they will call. They don't have time to go through all your CVs. And there are things called knockout ATS questions. I'm sure you must have noticed when applying for jobs, you see things like, are you willing to relocate? Are you willing to travel as part of your job? Questions like that. How many years of experience do you have? Now, it's good to be honest, but understand that the moment you supply a response that does not exactly align with the configurations of the ATS, it knocks off your CV immediately. And that's where you get rejections, right? Not because you're not smart or you're not intelligent, but these things are actually you being strategic in going about this job chase. Well, just a big quick tips for CV. I think there are a couple of questions on CV. Right. Your CV should be concise, clean, and consistent. I'll recommend 1 or 2 pages. I've seen some persons who, when I ask them, send me your CV, let me review. They send me a Word document as their CV. Please try and make your CV PDF all the time. The reason is when you send as a Word document, it doesn't, it scatters, I should use that word. So a PDF makes it more stable per se, right? So please, PDF is recommended. Bullet points, right? Make your CV easy to learn. Don't put unnecessary information that's not necessary. Avoid spelling mistakes. And you can get your CV reviewed by people. I'm always happy to help, right? You can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or my friends. I'm sure they'll be eager to equally as support, or any of your friends that can review your CV. And then there's one critical thing you need to understand when writing your description on your responsibilities or your job roles now, your experiences. Show and quantify. It's very important. Now, what did you achieve in the role? Impact or result? By what amount? What did you do to achieve it? Include links of your project or portfolio. You can be specific. Include those links. Recruiters want to see things you've done. That's the only way they can tell or judge you. Remember, your CV goes before you get the opportunity to defend what you know. Now, use words in line with the job description. Now, just a few interview questions, which I'm sure should answer a lot of questions we have in the forum today. Please, when you are in an interview and you want to answer questions, ensure you use the star or car technique. It's very important. Now, you could ask questions like, let's say, tell us the time you had to manage a situation, let's say an angry customer in the office. What did you do to manage an angry customer? In as much as you've explained what you've done, how you dealt with it, you need to demonstrate how you dealt with them. Did you speak with them? Did you go on with like follow-up calls or emails afterwards? Be specific, right? Now, answer your questions at a good pace. Be concise. Be clear. Keep good eye contact. Don't forget, we have the barrier of language and culture. So your accent might be a problem. So you need to ensure that you speak clearly and distinctly, right? Now, like I said earlier, show how your actions made an impact and made a difference. Use scenario responses that relate to the company so they can relate better. When you're asked questions, it's important that if you want to paint a scenario or a project, use a project that relates to that company. If, for instance, the company is into sales, use sales scenarios or sales projects you've done to explain regarding whatever question you're being asked. Ask the interviewer questions, good questions, please. And never say anything negative about your former company or about your country where you're coming from. Be proud of yourself. I mean, you should be very, very proud. The modest never gets hired. In as much as we still be modest, please be very confident in yourself, right? Now, okay, like I said earlier, if you're asked to do a project, for instance, I've done interviews where I'm asked to do a project, right? I specifically decided to choose data relating to that company. So when you're presenting it, they can easily relate with you, not something abstract, right? It's just, I think this is the last slide. Always do your research about the company. Understand your mission, the mission statement of the company, the job description. At times when they put like, what they call that test, whereby they test your behavior. The best way to answer or go about such kind of questions or interview is when you understand the mission statement. Do they work as a team? Do they expect to be more independent when working? So those are things that helps you to scale through that path, right? And of course, questions in line, do research of the JD and find out more about the company. So when you are responding in line with what the company does, in line with things you found out about the company. Maybe they won some awards or they improved sales by a certain percentage over time. You need to make those, it shows that you have researched about the company and you're serious, that you mean business. Research about your interviewer, know the kind of person he is. You can check on LinkedIn to know the kind of person, who be your manager, know how the person is. From the person's post, you could have an idea, right? Now, my apologies for taking so much time, but I feel I need to exhaust these things, but this is just the last slide. Mental pressure is real. Work-related stress is real. Please, always check the company's review. It's not every company you see you apply to. You will rush in and you rush out. You will get in and you get frustrated. Be sure. Don't be too desperate. You want a job, and then you jump into a job and then you're unhappy. The goal is to be happy and to make money. All right? Quote reasonable salary when asked. Now, don't be uptight, enjoy the interview, you do that fair, just communicate. Now, this is very important. When I say this, people are like, oh, John, and all that. Please, daily, apply to nothing less than 20 to 40 jobs. not just 2-3 jobs and you're done. No, you can't get it that way. Don't forget the competition. A lot of persons are chasing that same thing with you. I need to always prepare for interviews and practice. So I just few slides I wanted to share. Thank you for allowing me to complete them.
All right. So thank you so much, John. Yeah, thank you so much, John. That's a great one. Okay.
Sorry, can I just add just one thing to it?
Yes.
John and Ahmed, you guys have really answered, wonderfully. Just to add to it, in terms of someone, the sponsorship aspect, I think, because international students are actually looking for jobs that would, give them sponsorship to stay back. So most of these jobs, most times will say, at the end of the job description or the advert, they will say this role is open to sponsorship. So you can also target, those are roles that that will give you the right to stay back. Then in addition to what John has also said concerning interview, from my own experience, I know my boss, the first thing she's actually looking for is asking, can she work with this person? You might have all the skills you have, but the first thing when they are interviewing you is to see your disposition, how you're seated. Are you aggressive? Are you someone that they can work with? So that's the first thing that they are actually looking at. And it's also important that we are aware of the bias in the market. When these tech rules come out, they prefer giving citizens before it gets down to people who have permanent residents and before it gets down. So that's how it trickles down. So while it's important that we follow what John has said about applying in lots of places, not just like you've done 2 or 3 and you relax. Please just chase it and chase it as if you've not got anything else. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chichi. So towards the end, I'm going to just tie everything together and from there. But I just want us to answer some questions here. So I know Chichi touched on the sponsorship. That was a lot of questions actually came on the sponsorship for company that how do I target companies that offer sponsorship. So you said something there, but let's maybe as we go on, if there are other things you any one of you may have, please feel free to share there. So there is also another question here that talks about the UK work experience, that many jobs in the UK require work experience in the UK. That, okay, now there are 2 questions that I want to tie together. One is saying, well, I have a master's, but I don't have work experience in the UK. What are my chances of getting a job without UK experience with my degree? Then another one is saying, well, it's not about my master's now, that without prior experience, I don't even have experience. How do I get my first job in the UK? So there are 2, right? One is mainly, okay, leverage on the education, but without work experience in the UK, could have work experience before. What are my chances? One is saying, well, I don't even have any work experience at all, right? It's possible I have a master's in the UK. How do I land at my first job without UK experience?
Okay. One thing that we face to understand is we always think that we don't have the experience, but we do actually, and I'll tell you why. You see, you were a banker in Nigeria and you were a teller or a customer service, and then when you come to the UK, you see roles, data analytical roles. You'll be like, I can't apply, I've never done it before. Who told you your job in Nigeria as a bank teller or a customer service personnel is not data analytics? Now you have the experiences. Now all you need to do is to, first of all, accept it first that you have it and you can do it. And then you are competing with them. Just have that acceptance first of all. Tailor your CV in line with what you've done before and the jobs you want to apply to. The path you're trying to tour. Are you trying the part of data analytics, data science, whichever it is, as the case may be. Is it cybersecurity? Prepare your CV in line with that. So I believe that answers the question of I don't have work experience in UK. Well, in addition to that, who told you you must have work experience in UK before you get a job in the UK? Now, I completely disagree with that. Reason I would say that is because, you see, the first job I got in UK as a data analyst, I got it while being a student. I've never worked anywhere in the UK before, but I got a job as a student because of doing my master's. So I don't think it's true that you can't get a job in the UK if you don't have UK experience. Now, the question of I've never worked before. Well, I want to believe you've never done any job at all in Nigeria. But if that is the case, for instance, if you know you've not done the job and you're studying, why not prep yourself? You can take up voluntary activities in your school. You can take up some kind of activities that basically gives you that experience to put up. You can join like platforms, take up projects, maybe hackathon and things like that. Those things count as experience. You can put it in your CV. For instance, AI Lead, you can join AI Lead. It counts as experience as well. You can put it in your CV. So it's not necessarily that you must be in UK, you have got a job, or a company gives you offer letter and all that. That's what counts as experience. So if you want to achieve something, you need to start prepping and tailoring yourself in that path so you can achieve it. So that's just, I think that basically is what I would like to contribute to that question.
All right, thank you. Ahmed, Chichi, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so one of the mistakes students make while in school is that they choose to work with agencies, and even though agency work is usually the easiest to get, most people just like relax on it. Some of them because it pays higher hours, and then they just relax on the agency work. I usually tell people who ask me, working in an agency could be one of the biggest mistakes, just relaxing it. You could get it, to help put the bills, but begin to target companies that will take you, even if you don't have experience. They are entry roles, but also look at companies that have IT in them, because when you start working with them as a permanent staff, even in a junior role, you are in, so you now have the opportunity to transit should you want to. So most people, sometimes they just want data analytics role, they just want data science role, they just want machine learning roles, as the case may be. Sometimes you need to kiss a few frogs in order to be able to meet your king. So you may, like, I will say for myself, I started working in a company. When I was working there, I was working in a sales unit, but that company had IT in it. So by the time I was hitting like 6 months, it wasn't paying that much, but I was a permanent staff already. But I started looking for roles, asking my manager, how can I move, until I was able to get an IT role there, which now helped me in really enter into IT. So that is something that we might want to consider. You might have to take a detour to get into where you're going to. So target those companies that have IT roles and just get into what you can get in. From there, you can move into. I think that's what I have to say. I can't remember the other one. If I do, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to say something. So in the meantime, while I'm talking, if you have, I think most of the questions we have, the few questions we've taken, and even the presentation and all of that has covered it. And I'm going to just say some other things to tie things up. But in the meantime, if you have any additional question, please put it in the chat and I'm going to read it out. So that's to tell you that we are soon going to be done with this. Now, to put things together in perspective in terms of, so some people ask questions and says that is it possible to get a job in the field of data without without strong certificate like master's and PhD? The answer is yes. The answer, it depends, right? So it all depends of this, how you package your stuff, how you package your CV. Now, there's one thing I tell people that there is an algorithm the way LinkedIn work. Now, when my work with Microsoft opened me to this, because Microsoft bought LinkedIn, right? So we got access to some internal information about how the algorithm works. And I share that with some of the people here, that there is a way. The easiest way, there are several ways, but the easiest way to get a job is when a recruiter reach out to you. That's the easiest. Not everybody gets that, but that's the easiest, because interview is definite, it's sure, right? Interview is very sure when a recruiter reach out to you and it deemed you qualified. If it doesn't even deem you qualified, it won't reach out to you in the first place. Now, how do I make a recruiter to reach out to me? There's something I did. I did some testing some years ago to say, I'm going to see every week, LinkedIn gives you a statistics of how many times you appear in a search. And I'm going to do something on my profile, and I'm going to test it for the next 3 months and see. And when it worked, I got the formula right. Okay, so because every week, the minimum I was getting in terms of search was 85 views, 85 views that you appearing, right? And then I could recall there was no week that minimum of one recruiter will not reach out about a job. So what did I do? That's the question. Okay, so I'm also going to say some other thing, but what did I do? Already, the skill is already there. I have the skills. I think that's the starting point. I see a lot of people want to get a job without a skill. I see someone posted on LinkedIn, I'm open to a data science job. That was what he said. But I know this person that he doesn't even have the skill. Even the skill, it's not as if he's not in the field. He doesn't even know what data science is. So my question would be, if I call you for an interview, will you survive? So I've been in both ends, both as an interviewer and also an interviewee. Will you survive? Do you have the skills for this job? Obviously, John mentioned of one thing which is very true. You don't need to possess all the skills, right? But do you possess the minimum? Are you sure that even if we call you, you will get it? Like, you can do up to basic to intermediate. So the starting point is get the skills. Which area do you want to go for? Get skill that will position you for multiple jobs. If I want to, I can get a skill that will position me for either data analytics job, Power BI developer job, data science job, any skill that deal with data. If suppose that's the skill I want, that's the kind of job I'm looking for. What are the required skills? There was a selling point John made, which was one thing I did several years. When I was going into this field many years ago, I first went to LinkedIn and I searched. I searched data analytics, data science job. I wasn't looking for a job at that point. I was trying to look at the skills that they require. And when I typed data science job, there are several jobs. And I began to look at each of them. And I was writing the skills down. Then I realized that by the time I look at 10, all of the skills were overlapping. Okay, so these are the core skills. Then the work started, right? I need to get these skills. Get the skills with projects. Get the skills and do projects. Get the knowledge, put the project there to make it practical, and then start applying. Someone was looking for jobs. I said, how many jobs are you applying for in a day? Sometimes he said, maybe once a week. You are not ready to get a job. John covered that 20 to 40 jobs a day is possible, right? If you are looking for it. So there are basic things. There is a way your resume must look. There is a way, there are some things that must be in your LinkedIn. First is the title. Some people will just put master students. Nobody, no recruiter search for master students. Your master certificate is not what gets you the job. Being an MSc or PhD doesn't get you the job. What gets you the job is the skill. Fine, you need a degree, but that's not what they search for. They don't search for masters. Some people put graduate student as the title. It doesn't get you the job because no recruiter search for that. So you not even appear in the search. And if you go and apply to a company, which is okay, but the point is the competition is high. Maybe out of 1,000, the recruiter may not even get to your own resume before he sees those he or she is looking for. So the best way, the easiest way is that the recruiter reach out to you. Now, if you apply today, some people said, I'm not even getting interview preps, like interview calls. Maybe because I don't have much experience. It may not be, but don't worry. I remember when I was called by Facebook, I didn't apply for it. But where did they get my resume? I've applied several years ago. Once you apply, it's in their database. So one day, we don't know the one day, they will just search, bam, maybe the skill, and then they will reach out to you. When Amazon reached, I said, you applied for someone for another role, but I saw that, no, I think I need you for this role. So they just apply to many because you don't know who we search, okay? Who we search. I just want to point these things out. So the first starting point are the skills. What role do you want to go for? What skills do I need? Minimum skills for this role. Okay, I'm looking for, everybody's going for data and business analytics. I'm going for business analytics. What skills do you need? You need to know Excel. You don't need to be an expert. A working knowledge. You need to know something about Power BI. Minimum. If you can't know Power BI and Tableau, no one. You need to know something about SQL. Minimum. If you want to go high, you can then bring in programming there. You want to go, so whatever role, search on LinkedIn, this job, and then look at the skills. Write them down. Those are what you target. What about work experience? This is why you join a boot camp, where they'll put project and I will package the project as part of the experience, because that's actually the experience, right? That's part of the experience. So you need to bear this in mind. Beyond doing, because no matter how you tweak your resume, if you don't even have the skills, how will you get the job? First stage alone can get you out, and then you'll be frustrated. Okay, so that's just what I want to quickly add to that. And let me add the question someone asked. Someone says, so I want to throw questions to you now, to the panel. He said, I have a friend who is interested in tech and has a lot of experience in programming and data visualization and so on. He is a university dropout. How can you guide us how to help him in this field? That's one. What do you think? Chichi, John, Ahmed.
Yeah. Honestly, your friend has a chance. The truth is, what they request to validate you once they have interviewed you and they see that yes, you fit in, you meet the requirements, you have the skills, is references of whatever you've worked. They don't ask for a reference from school or certificate from school. So whatever university your friend attended, please let him just put it there. I mean, I'm university of whatever, just put it there. I would also tell you, just to buttress what Mr. Kennedy said. People have lost opportunities to get a job just because they said they had masters. But like Chichi said, you see, there's a hierarchy. The citizens first, the permanent residents, the citizens that we're talking about. How many of them have masters? The person interviewing you, does he have a master's? Do you understand? So when you look at some job specifications, when they specify a bachelor's degree, please don't talk about your master's. Don't say anything about your master's. Stop at that bachelor's degrees that they've asked for. We know, see, we are very talented people, Nigerians. We're very, very intelligent people. So please, your friend has a very high chance because he's skilled in programming and visualization. There may be other skills that he has. Just look at the job description. I'm sorry, Arthur asked a question. I don't want us to miss it out before we leave. It says, which platform can I review? Can I view company reviews? Glassdoor is a very good one. If you see a job vacancy that's been advertised and you're applying and all of that, if they don't state the salary, go to Glassdoor. On Glassdoor, you can review company salaries. You see reviews from employees, either past or present, on Glassdoor. I think someone else asked a question. Mr. Kennedy, if you allow me. It says internship. How do I get in the internship role? I've applied more than 30 internship roles. You see, the moment you begin your masters, you might be looking for jobs like we did, applying, and then you might be lucky to get just like John did when we were still in school. But one other thing is there are some graduate roles. They call it graduate roles, some call it internship. 2-3 months into your masters, get your CV well, revamped. Apply. Accenture, Black Interns, Bright Networks. There are a lot of them. You see, once you see graduate roles, it's for people who don't have experience at all. So it's more like an internship, and they pay well. So I mean, you see, they pay well.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so just in addition to the question of his friend being a university dropout, nobody really cares about which university you went to. Yes, and if you don't have a university degree, please don't put it in that you have a university degree. What the recruiters actually want to know is, can you do this and what experience you have? So if he's feeling a bit down on the university, he can get a certification in whichever. Microsoft has various certifications that are recognized everywhere. So you can make it up by getting a certification and use his job experience, get his referrals from where he's worked. If he has his own company, then use your you don't really need a university degree to be able to prove that you know what you can do.
All right. Thank you, Chichi. So, for the person who says, how do I get internship role? I've applied more than 30 internship roles without success. Let me say one thing there. Just to add to what Ahmed said. Now, see, it's okay to get. I want one thing I want us to get used to. I think I posted this on LinkedIn some time ago, is the ability to be resilient. I know that it could be disturbing, rejections, but one thing I need you to know is that there's nobody that has never been rejected, that has succeeded in one way or the other, that's never been rejected. Get used to rejection. Get used to failure. If you don't fail, you won't succeed. Get used to it. You only need one, that's all. 100 of rejection doesn't matter if one works. So if you have applied to many and they did not work out, right? So my point is this. What's your goal of getting the internship, right? It's not, is it the money they offer or the experience to feeling? If it's the experience, someone like you, and I know you are a student of ILTech. ILTech offers free internship, free unpaid internship, but with some criteria, right? Meaning, what's the criteria? Come to all classes, do all projects, do all quizzes, do all assignments, and then you qualify for it. And then ILTech even give, because ILTech now is accredited in the US, right, by the American Council of Technical Education. Now your certificate is recognized. Now you are not being paid, fine. But ILTech, you get the internship, and ILTech can give you recommendation letter. Why not meet up with that opportunity? But at the same time, if you don't do the part of ILTech, you won't get the internship. So if you don't get the one there, why not the one that is in front of you? Why not go for it? Why not get that? and put it. There are quite a number of people here that only the internship experience of Vilitech was, some of the things was what they were sharing. So if you can't get that one, the one right in front of you, why not take advantage of it and get it? That's it. So nobody really cared the name of the company, where the company is that you got it. What did you do while you were getting it? What did you do there? What are the projects you did? And those count as your work experience. Let me give you one instance. There was a guy in the US here. Femi did HND in Nigeria. HND. And he came to the US on visiting, struggling, and all of that. Right? Doing Uber, doing some factory work. Then he just realized that he was tired because he is married with kids, right? So, and then he enrolled in data and business analytics with 0 level. But one thing, he never missed anything. He put in all of his best to read. Sometimes the class will be 5 a.m. for him. He never missed one project or anything. He didn't even do internship, right? All we did was to review after he's done, review, because he made the criteria. Review is all of his LinkedIn and CV. The truth is this, to the glory of God, 2022, okay, he finished in November 2021, 2022 February, but he kept applying, like John said, applying to several. One pharmaceutical company just called him for interview, even a full-time job, not even without any education in the US. I studied there, he didn't study. With his HND, they didn't even ask, what, do you have a BSc? What did you do? He did business admin there. What? And he's applying for data analytics. But one thing is this, he was able to crack all of these Excel, SQL, Power BI questions. He started with a mid-senior role. That's the truth. He started with a mid-senior role with nothing less than $80,000 in annually. Within 3 months, Femi got his own house here. So why am I trying to tell you that? Your degree doesn't matter. To add to what Gigi is saying, it is the skill. Now, you need to be able to package yourself. You can take courses in several places. I'm not even pitching Elitech to you, but wherever you want to take, make sure that the project is there, and you must do it to know it. If the project he presented, because he did it by himself. If you like fake project on your resume, you can't defend it. It's of no way. It's of waste if you can't defend the thing you put on your resume. I have someone who is in the US here. He had a master's, and they called him for a mid-role of machine learning engineer. When he came that he had the interview, I told him, you took a course in Nigeria, but you didn't finish. Will you go back and you have all the access to the recordings and all of that? He found a way to let someone do the project for him. He passed the first round. Now he got to the final round, and they just asked him one thing in that project they gave him for the interview that someone helped him to do. That what framework did you use? And he couldn't answer the question. And that was how he lost that job. This was this year. And I asked, and I told him, I said, this opportunity you had, despite that you have no experience, I'm not cursing. You may not have the opportunity again for the next 5 years. So you will learn the hard way to understand that there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut. You have to pay the price. Okay. So I just need to let you know. Now I want to ask, Daniel asked a question here. He said they keep messaging me, they keep reaching out. But when I say I'm on a student visa, they run. So what do I do? Chichi, John, Ahmed, what do I do?
You have 20, he has 20 hours to work legally. Okay. Most times for most roles that are permanent roles like that, they need you to work at least 37 hours a week. So your visa is already a limitation, and those companies will be penalized if they take you in. And when I was a student, I tried looking for part-time roles. I couldn't get any. It doesn't mean that it's not there, but I couldn't get any. So that's one of the challenges. So most of them will rather wait for you. Like before I transited fully into tech, the company I was working for, they waited for me on that day that I finished school officially, 20th. That was the day I was given my tech role. So that's it.
Thank God
okay.
I'm done with school now, so,
anything to add to it? John, Ahmed, do you have anything?
Yeah, well, the thing is, when searching for jobs on this website, you have the option to filter on part-time jobs, right?
Okay.
That means you should be specific on what you're searching. So don't just apply to anything. So you don't even waste the time. I think that's one thing I wanted to mention. And also, I know NHS, there are some roles they will tell you it's part-time, flexible, flexible hours per se and things like that, right? So you need to take advantage of those kind of companies. There are companies that will still employ you even though it's a part-time role, so it doesn't matter. And also, a lot of people don't know, Job Teaser is a very good platform to look for internship jobs, graduate jobs. Please explore that site very well. I didn't do that when I was a student. Well, I would say I regret it, but I'm sure I'll be able to explore more things. You can even apply to jobs outside of UK, internship and things like that. So explore that Job Teaser. And two things I'd like to also add. There's another site called Bright Network. I'll let's talk about this. It's a very good website because Job Teaser, to tease someone, Job Teaser, Bright Network, right? It's a very good website, right? So you can actually get a graduate job even before you graduate from school. I have a friend or friends who got jobs through Bright Network particularly because somehow what they do is to gather graduate jobs from different companies, right? So, and I know of people who have gotten like nationwide jobs months before they would even graduate, are even sponsoring them, right? So some of all those programs can be like 2 years, 1 year program. Just apply to them. So I think that's one thing you can explore. And the person who talked about work experience, sorry, I'm going back a bit. I wanted to mention this. When arranging your CV, try to understand that yes, Bright Network, what you're selling now is your work experience. You do not have the education, right? Let your work history come first in your CV, or when you're organizing your CV, your work history should come first. Some persons will advise you to put your education first and modules. That is in the case where you're a graduate, let's say a fresh graduate with no core experience. Now, what you are selling is or are the modules you've done, the projects you did in your university. So it's fair to put your education first before maybe some kind of experiences that you have in terms of maybe you're working in a coffee shop, little voluntary jobs here and there. Okay, and never, we're talking about experience. It's not, you can always take on voluntary jobs. Even like British had, they're all still jobs. Even if it's just 1 month you go, they would always be willing to possibly reference you. So those are just things I like to add.
Okay. All right. So one final thing I want to say is this remote jobs. So you can snap it. If you want remote jobs, right, you can also work remotely. So now the world is changing. Okay. The world is changing to a point where you can work from anywhere in the world. That's the way the world is going now. In fact, very soon, all of these visa stuff is going to die down because of the way the world is going now. Okay, such that you can work anywhere in the world. One of Highly Tech developers who was working remotely, and he was working for a company in Germany, and they're paying him in dollars. He's in Nigeria, right? So that's it. So the way is well. So I put some of this side for you so you can check it out. So you can take a picture of it. That's why I'm putting the screen here, so that you can check them out. Working Nomads, remote.co, check them out. I've actually checked them how to put them here for you. So there's a lot of jobs, and most of them even put the hour they applied. Like, oh, they just posted this job 1 hour ago. They just posted this job 1 day ago or a few minutes ago. You see there. So if you are interested in remote jobs, like many people ask, so you have to check them out. But remember, because even all of them too, it still boils down to the skill. Fine, you can cook up your resume and put them there, right? So, and just apply and see whether they will call you. So it's one thing to be called, is another thing to be able to get the job. So, but at least if you want to be called, at least apply, right? Apply, and then you can solve the is the second aspect of getting the job, right? So not getting interviews or not getting recruiter calls. I think that's what you need to focus on. That why am I not getting a recruiter's call, or why am I not being invited for the interview? That's one aspect. Second is, if I get the interview invite, what is stopping me from getting the job? So there are two phases there. If you're not being called, there are a lot of reasons that could be. It could be because of your resume, which could boil down to your experience, like we have been saying. It could be based on how you sell yourself, showcase yourself on your resume. The truth is this, and I think I've told Ahmed, John, and John before that, the truth is this. If I know sponsorship or anything, if your skill is, if the way you put your skill, you package yourself on your resume and LinkedIn is solid, forget it. They will give you the job, and they may not sponsor you. They will tell you that, well, just start the job without sponsorship, even though they normally require sponsorship, because they need you based on what you have. So one question that you may be thinking that, oh, what do I have that others don't have? Then you have a self-doubt. So you need to solve that problem of self-doubt. You need to be proud of yourself. You need to package yourself so well that you know that you need. And if you're ever being called for an interview, that's another ball game entirely. Because there are strategies. Actually, you can't have an interview with me and then and you will control the interview. It's not possible. I will determine the question you will ask. I will lead you to a place of my strength where I will finish you with the things I already have. So that's it. So interview prep is another thing entirely. So there is a lot of places where people fail here now. One is the place of even getting to be called for an interview, which will boils down to your resume. Or I know that it could be visa stuff or all of that. But the truth is this, no matter the visa or anything or the other, if your skill is needed, right? If your skill is needed, that thing, you saw the job, you see what they ask, tailor your resume to that point. If they need you, they will bypass that. They will start with you. They may not sponsor you, but at least they will give you the job. They will give you the job to start with, okay? So you need to get that aspect. And if it is place of interview, you are failing. After you did the interview, they didn't get back, then something is wrong. It could be that they see that you don't have the necessary skills. They see that you are not confident enough. They see that, okay, they ask this, they ask A, you are saying B. So then you need to work on the skills part. You need to work on the knowledge part. Okay, so I just need to point that to you. But like I told you, take a screenshot of this remote stuff. There are several others, but I just put this one here, and you can start applying. In addition to the on-site job, these are all remote jobs, and they are real. And you can get the job in the comfort of your home. Remote jobs now are becoming very, very popular, such that you'll be working, and some of them are hybrid, even on this same platform here. All right, so I'll just give 1 or 2 minutes for any of our panelists or anybody to ask a question here. If there is any question we haven't covered and you have a question, feel free to unmute and ask. Okay? Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for me. Yeah, I put it on the chat group as regards the question, because for instance, most of the questions that has been from the application stage, the criteria. I want to know the rights to approve things, even if we don't actually. I used to have at the back of my mind that it's just ATS that actually make these judgments, but in the same vein, I don't want to lie. So at the end of the day, I expect what the result will be. Sorry, you are not qualified. So how best?
Hello. Can you be... All right, so Olumide, I think I get you. Your network is cracking. So You can
Oh.
also put it in the chat, but I think what Olumide is saying, the little I got is how best to get the opportunity or job opportunity or something like that. That like there are sometimes they put the job description, it doesn't have almost all the skills they
Yeah.
put there, right?
I think I have it on the chat. It's about the ATS because which
Okay,
is
ATS.
for example, applying to Indeed or LinkedIn. These are things that come up often
Okay,
in terms of
okay.
asking like some preliminary questions.
All right, Olumide. So, John, what Olumide was actually directing this question to you about ATS knockout question. Now, how do we now respond? Like when they say that, let's say, are you on a student visa? Or they like those questions that it makes it difficult to lie, right? How do you undo it to avoid this knockout question?
Well, unfortunately, if you're asked question like, are you on a student visa, you can't lie about that, because if you lie, it's an integrity issue. So I won't advise you to lie. However, those questions really, you can get the answers from the job description. Are you willing to relocate? Obviously, you're going to say yes, even though you are married, you have your family, you don't want to relocate, but you want that interview, you have to say yes. Because, I mean, what is the worst that can happen, right? Are you willing to travel as part of the job? Yes. Are you willing to work full time? Yes. How many years of experience do you have? Look at the job JD. Those things are already there. So your job JD is saying maybe skilled in this. You are writing 1 year. I don't think that will get you the job, right? So you can put like, it depends on what is there. Maybe 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, as the case may be. So things like that. Once you read the job JD, I think it guides you. I've gone for an interview where I'm asked, do you have a driving license? Do you drive? Right. So those are things. Of course, you might have the experience, the skill and everything. And then someone who has the same skill and experience with you obviously will beat you to it, because the person has some of these things that they are asking for that you don't have. Okay. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is this: apply to a lot of jobs. Not, I think someone said I applied to 30 internship. That's 30 for supposed to be for 1 day, or let me say for 3 days. Apply to a lot so you can spread your options. See, these days, when you get on LinkedIn and then there's a job advert, you see the way a lot of people apply for a job that is just out in the last 1 hour, and you see up to like 500 applicants already. So the job market is not joking. They're not joking right now, especially with the whole visa restriction. And don't forget, we have a very serious competitor. I want to believe everyone here, Nigerians or maybe other parts of Africa as well. Indians, they are very good, and there are lots of them here. I've worked with them, and they are ready. They are talented, so they are very big competition. Okay, so just know that you have a big competition. So you have to spread your applications. The fact that you don't get called doesn't mean that you're not intelligent, you're not smart. It just means that possibly they didn't see your CV, they didn't read your CV. Okay, so I hope that answers your question about the knockout ATS question.
All right. So to wrap up, before we just wrap up, and I'm going to thank the panelists. So one thing I just want to say is that if you are here, let's say your own cases, you don't have work experience, and let's assume that you want to go for a data role. I don't have a chance. I'm still going to pitch Highly Tech to you. Because even the speakers here, they've passed through Highly Tech. So the truth is this: Highly Tech. A student says Highly Tech to the world. It was lost. He didn't know that it was not muted. Okay, so so we have, okay, I think what's so we have a data and business analytics. The truth is this: a lot of people have gotten it from zero to from zero level, and they've gotten job with it. Okay, Olumide can testify, right? We have someone who relocated to the UK from Nigeria. He was about relocating. He doesn't even have any data experience at all. So from Nigeria, he started taking the analytics. And the moment he got to the UK, he didn't go there to study himself. He got to the UK within 2 weeks when he finished the course. All he reached out to me that, Mr. Kenny, I'm using Highly Tech as a reference. I just got this job. You should receive it any moment from now. Really? And we received it. So the truth is this: It's not impossible. We have testimonial in the UK, in the US, and in Nigeria, and in some other part. So if you want to go into data field, I will pitch iLitech to you because our course is very robust and the cheapest. Robust with a lot of experienced professionals, right? John is even one of the instructor. I am one of them. And then we have 2 other people. One course, 4 professionals, and you will do a minimum of 4 projects. After that, you are qualified. If you do all this stuff, you are qualified for an internship where you'll be given additional 4 projects, where you'll be doing a lot of serious presentations and all of that. And that already, by that, you already have more than up to 8 projects. Tell me, what experience are you now looking for? You already have experience now. And then the additional thing, if you go through the internship experience, if they ask for companies like where you worked as this internship for recommendation, iLitech gives you to shock you or to announce to you. iLitech has an accreditation with American Council of Technical Training. So we are accredited. So certificate, even if you want to say certificate, is accredited, is acceptable in the US. So if it's acceptable in the US, it's definitely acceptable in the UK now. So to tell you, there is a next batch coming, starting this March ending. So join the train if your own is work experience and you want to go into this field. You better start. You will learn Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. Not only learn them on how to apply them for industry work. And that will start a foundation for you to keep going, and then you have a lot of work experience. But note, it's not magic. You join, you don't come to class, it can't take you anywhere. You have to do the work. Weekly quizzes, weekly assignments to make sure you know it, so that when you are called for interview, you clear it, right? And then we'll help you review your resume and LinkedIn during the internship, not when you start the course. You must pass to get to the internship. During that, you work with me one-on-one to help you review your resume and your LinkedIn, so that recruiter can start reaching out to you, okay? And then you will start getting recruiters call. All right, so with that, that's it from on the aspect of iLitech. Honestly, I really want to thank the panelists here today. Chichi, I've had the opportunity to work with these 3 amazing guys, these 3 amazing people. I have a one-on-one collaboration with them. So these are amazing people. You can connect with them on LinkedIn, right? So Chichi, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. John is very close to me, like like a mentee. So, but he's a professional. But I'm privileged as a small boy to be a mentor to him. So, but these are great people. Connect with them. Ahmed, wonderful. So Ahmed is like a brother, as a family, and these are people we network with. So, and those are the opportunity we'll get when you join the family of iLitech. You get to network with people, and people who they are selfless. You can imagine, we just connect with them. Oh, Chichi, we want to do this thing, because they are selfless. They want to offer their best to people. They are not just getting job, but they also want to make impact in the life of others. That's why they are here, to spend that time. And I really appreciate that. I do not take that for granted. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to everybody that comes, I hope that this is going to be what you will send to us next. That, oh, this thing, based on what I attend this webinar, I got this and this and this, I put them to work and I got this. We are interested in your success story. So I hope that this is going to produce a positive result for you. That's our joy. That's where we get fulfillment from. All right. So I really wish you success in your endeavor. I wish that this will produce something positive for you, and also in the nearest future. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. This is where we're going to end the webinar for today. Very soon, we're also going to come up with another webinar, just to make sure that you get the best, because we are interested in your success. So thank you. If you are not following iLitech on LinkedIn, follow us so that when this kind of event is coming, you will easily get notified. So thank you so much to everyone and to the great panelists. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. All right. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank